be doing that today. Tomorrow. Tomorrow works.
Is this thing on? Welcome back to Big Mouth, and fancy seeing you here in June. I'm very welcome, my friends, and especially my enemies. Come in, sit down, no touching. I don't do the touching. And hello and welcome to Monday's edition of the dceu Daily. What a weird intro I just did. That was the Super Bowl TV spot for Wonder Woman 1984, but really it had nothing to do with Wonder Woman 1984 apart from the setting. They used it as a promotional tie to some kind of detergent or something. I thought I'd play it for you because it's all about a brand new DCEU film coming to cinemas this summer. Very exciting. But it does seem to me that less and less studios are investing in advertisements at Super Bowl. There used to be so many movie trailers and it was so exciting. But I looked through Twitter today and there wasn't really that much. So there's that. But today I want to talk about my brand new Superman movie idea. Now I did one before, and it's actually on my Twitter. It's pinned on my Twitter feed. It's at Movies TV Mad if you're interested. But this is a new one. Now I've got this new Amazon thing, and I'm not going to say her name because she'll activate. And I was looking into Superman, and I was finding out all this information about Siegel and Schuster. Now it turns out one of his early ideas for Superman was to set it in the future. Now, I'm not sure if anyone ever did this graphic novel, but it was set in the future where Earth is besieged by global warming, and it's actually going to have the same fate as the planet Krypton. Now, that's very interesting to me, and I came up with a very quick idea. Now, I haven't really beefed it up. It's not all there like my original Superman movie idea, but this one, if you take a listen to this. So, Lex Luthor obviously originally was this mad scientist, really, really clever. Later on in the comics and the graphic novels, he became this kind of business mogul, very powerful, very wealthy. He had the power of finance and intellect, and Superman obviously had physical strength, but Superman's always been intellectual and very well knowledgeable, thanks to what Jor-El set up for him in the Fortress of Solitude and the knowledge that was imparted upon him on his long journey to Earth. So my story starts with Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor is in a lab. He's doing experiments. He's looking at things. And then he's got this kind of radar. And it shows him that global warming has finally going to destroy the Earth. Now, I don't have the details in my mind, but basically, he goes to Superman and he tells Superman his findings. And at first, obviously, Superman doesn't trust him. But later on, they unite to try and tell the world that they must do something. So it becomes a great parallel of what happens on Krypton, where Jor-El is telling the members of the council that this planet is going to be destroyed within days, if not sooner. If you remember what Brando's Jor-El was doing and saying to the council. And I think it's very, very interesting in the real world that we live in. In the real world that we live in now, you've got people like Greta Thunberg warning that global warming is going to destroy our planet, that either the ice caps are going to melt and we're going to drown, or we're just going to be burnt alive and the whole planet will be destroyed. So there's people who accept the science because the science is fact. And there's people like the Kryptonian Council and people like Donald Trump and Boris Johnson who are, global warming, deniers, if you like. They don't want to hear it, mostly because they probably know, looking at the science, that it won't happen within our lifetime. So F it, it's not our problem. Why should we care? That's the attitude. And I think this is why what Siegel come up with Superman having the planet destroyed by a natural disaster is amazing. Now, I don't know if global warming kind of people knew about global warming back in 1938. I don't think so. But it's a parallel of what's happening on our world today. So I think it would be a pretty amazing story for Lex Luthor to find this out. And obviously, Lex Luthor may be a madman. He may be an evil genius, but he's also a survivor. He doesn't want to die. He doesn't want the planet he lives on to die. And so what happens is that Lex Luthor discovers a world that they can go on, but there's already life on it, and it's an overcrowded planet. So Lex Luthor has the idea to destroy the life forms on the planet so humanity can live on it. And this is where him and Superman stand apart. It's because the Earth's going to die. The Earth's going to die. At the beginning of the story, there doesn't seem to be any way of saving the Earth. Now, in my mind, at the end of my story, there probably will be a way to save the Earth so this doesn't happen. But yeah, so it starts off as Superman and Lex being in unity and agreeing that the world is going to be destroyed, even though people don't want to hear this. And there's still deniers out there, so that will be commentary in the film. But then this other parallel of the story comes out where Lex discovers a world where humanity can live on. And it gets even worse because Lex Luthor believes that not everyone should go, only the best and the brightest people should go. It's a very, I suppose, a very right wing of looking at things. Why should the weak go? But who's weak? Who deems who's weak? And it's very interesting in Man of Steel as well, isn't it? You know, who should choose? Who should choose who leads? Who leads Krypton? As Jor-El says to him, who's going to make these decisions? You. And then that's when he and Jor-El begin to fall out in Man of Steel. So I love what they did in Superman the movie and Man of Steel, where they put these parallels on there, where Zod believes it's Kryptonians' right to go on Earth, kill, basically create an atmosphere on Earth so Kryptonians can live, right? And if that kills humans, that kills humans. Zod's not a cackling, moustache-twirling villain. He doesn't particularly want to kill people, but if it's a choice out of the humans and his own kind, then he'll sacrifice the humans. And this is a kind of attitude we have in this world today. So I thought it'd be kind of interesting because of, I think Siegel did the writing and Schuster did the artwork. If I'm wrong, you can comment down below. I'm a Superman fan, and I don't know which one did the artwork yet. Never mind, I still love Superman, right? But anyway, right, so this whole thing happens where when Lex Luthor sends a probe out and he tries to wipe out the beings on this planet, something happens and they don't, only some of them die and some of them live. So what happens is these aliens come to Earth and there's a big fucking battle between humans and these aliens, and then Superman has to decide whose side to take on this. And of course, the whole moral of the story is an important piece of commentary and moral we're facing today, and that is, A, we are in denial of our own destruction, and we know full well that governments around the world have already got plans looking for another planet where humanity can survive because they know this world is dying. And that's the kind, I haven't really thought it all out, I haven't fleshed the whole story out, but that's the kind of thing that I'd like to do. Anyway, comment down below and let me know what you think of the outline of my little story. Always thinking of ideas for a Superman movie because I'm desperate for one. And hopefully the rumours that I brought to you last week that J.J. Abrams is going to be developing a Superman movie, a Man of Steel 2, a Man of Steel sequel with Chris Terrio happens because I'm very excited, and also the rumours of a Justice League as well, and then a separate kind of JSA Superman going to be in Black Adam. Hopefully my sources are all true because I really, really love Superman and I'd love him to be oversaturated in TV and film. So Joaquin Phoenix won the Best Actor award at the BAFTAs last night for winning for the Joker movie. He deserves it. He's a great guy. He's a great actor. But this is what he had to say.
I feel very honored and privileged to be here tonight. BAFTAs have always been very supportive of my career, and I'm deeply appreciative. But I have to say that I also feel conflicted because so many of my fellow actors that are deserving don't have that same privilege. I think that we send a very clear message to people of color that you're not welcome here. I think that's the message that we're sending to
Sorry, it's buffering.
people that have contributed so much to our medium and our industry, and in ways that we benefit from. I don't think anybody wants a handout or preferential treatment, although that's what we give ourselves every year. I think that people just want to be acknowledged and appreciated and respected for their work. This is not a self-righteous condemnation, because I'm ashamed to say that I'm part of the problem. I have not done everything in my power to ensure that the sets I work on are inclusive, but I think that it's more than just having sets that are multicultural. I think that we have to really do the hard work to truly understand systemic racism. I think that it is the obligation of the people that have created and perpetuate and benefit from a system of oppression to be the ones that dismantle it. So that's on us. Thank you.
So, he made a very impassioned speech about racism, inclusion, and representation. And the heart of what he's saying is absolutely spot on. But what do you think I have an issue with in that speech? He only talks about people of colour, the most represented minority in the entertainment industry. Not about Greek Cypriots, not about Indians or Asians or Polish people or Russian people or anyone else. It's always about people of colour, the most represented minority in the industry. There are some very, very talented people of colour out there, and they deserve their representation and their inclusion, and I support that. But that's all I hear about, that we're not represented enough. That's what I keep on hearing. No, but you've had your piece of the pie, right? Wait a minute, let the rest of us feed on more than scraps, and then by all means shout out that there's not more of you in the industry. In fact, because people of colour are the most represented minority in the industry, they should be saying, what about the Greek Cypriots? What about the Turkish people? What about the Russians? Where are all these people, right? And are they, are there different religions? But this is what representation and inclusion does. Because you can't just represent one minority. You can't have one minority saying, that's not fair. Yeah, you're representing us, but you still did this to us 40 years ago and we want more. Don't worry about the other minorities. They're not important, right? I guess the loudest voices always get heard. So I played you that and I reacted to that because Joaquin is a very big part of DC. He will be back with a Joker sequel. Have no doubt about that. I love you, Joaquin. I love your sentiments. But only mentioning people of colour, the most represented minority in the industry, is very, very problematic to me. And I want to know what you think about this. Anyway, as we go on to the Snyder Cut, and very, very quiet. There's no dribblings of any information. There's nothing I can tell you. There's nothing I can say. This movie is happening, and I'm beginning to become very, very frustrated. I love RT Snyder Cut. I like the art competition. It's great, but I still want more. I want to see the Snyder Cut of Justice League. I want to see David Ayer's Suicide Squad. Now, Margot Robbie, when she went to the screening of Birds of Prey, The Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn, was very flattering and supportive of David Ayer. I didn't expect anything else from Margot because, what should I call her, a gentle lady. You know how they call men gentlemen who are polite and respectful? That's what Margot is, a gentle lady. Even in the face of such adverse hate as her and her fellow artists are getting by the extreme right now, and, people like geeks and gamers and all of those lot, they're ready to pounce on this film. They want this film to fail, and they believe they have the power to make this film fail. I'm really excited to see the reviews. I'm very excited to see the opening Thursday, Friday box office, so we can either put this to bed, or I can say, do you know what? I went to see a film. I liked it. Everyone else didn't. It's a fair cop. Hamada, DC and WB have failed here, and we must do better, especially when something as important as an all-female movie. This is the first all-female kind of girl gang kind of, or girl team kind of movie. It's a first. And, you know, they haven't done it over at the MCU, apart from that kind of girl power fight scene in Endgame. They haven't done it. I'm sure they're going to do it. They have to do it. It's what everyone's hungering for right now. So I'd be really disappointed if Warner Brothers and DC are kind of panned for this. Because, as I say, I think it's a really, really good film. But there are elements of the film that are supposed to be fun and funny. And like that fight that some people are trying to say is awful. It's that way because it's supposed to be like. It's supposed to be funny. The thing with the hair thing, right? It's supposed to be fun. But you've taken it and you've misconstrued it because that's the kind of people you are. So please comment down below. Please like, share and subscribe. And I'll be back tomorrow with more DCEU Daily, and someone throw me even a bone. The Snyder Cut of Justice League and the Air Cut are coming very soon. The artists, the creators deserve it. We deserve it. We want to see those directors' full visions. See you again tomorrow.